Well, thank you all for coming down tonight. I know you have a lot of entertainment choices this evening, and we appreciate your attendance at this, the second performance of our rock opera. I will be reading from a script. The setting, Tucson. The time, 14 minutes later than you think. The protagonist, Bildungsroman, in German Bildungsroman, assistant night manager at the Circle K at First Avenue in Fort Lowell, is sitting in his rented duplex, eating his dinner and watching the evening news. Bill's dinner consists of a bag of Cheetos and an energy beverage manufactured in China, which tastes vaguely of lead, and whose ingredients, at least according to the muscular cartoon pig on the label, are crucial for maintaining health, fitness, and mental acuity. On Bill's television, the male half of the newscaster team is reporting on the recent placement of the mysterious oil-eating Gulf Coast bacteria on the federal endangered species list. Bill notes that the newscaster seems to be experiencing a little physical discomfort this evening. His eyes roll. His jaw clenches. Unprofessional beads of sweat have escaped the thick layer of pancake makeup, shimmering and dancing on the newscaster's forehead. Bill wonders if the newscaster is suffering from food poisoning. A clinical psychologist, however, would likely recognize these symptoms as being indicative of stage 3 of cognitive dissonance. In most cases, if the patient is put on a strict regimen of fast food and celebrity gossip, the stage can still be treated. The newscaster, however, has already entered stage 4, the terminal stage of cognitive dissonance. Before his colleague can begin her story about the president's recent decision to fight global climate change by privatizing Social Security, the newscaster stands up behind his desk and he begins to sing. time, however, burly Blackwater security forces have converged from off camera and tasered the newscaster before he can reach the second line of the first verse. A technician at the control board quickly pushes a button and displays the beloved catchphrase, "Don't tase me, bro," as the newscaster's violently twitching body is dragged away. Being a liberal, Bill wonders for a moment if the protest is a breach violation. Before their account, however, it becomes transfixed by a series of exciting beer and cell phone commercials with really cool graphics. When the news resumes, the female newscaster announces proudly that video of the recent tasering of her colleague has already gone viral, spawning several video parodies, a brief backlash, and rumors of a possible movie deal, possibly involving Zach Galifianakis. Bill turns off the TV, and realizing that he still has a few moments before he has to leave for work, he decides to call his girlfriend Eunice, who lives by a Sleepy Hollow trailer park. After several rings, Eunice answers the phone. Her breathless agitation fills Bill with alarm. Before he can ask if he should perhaps stop by on his way to work, a squeaking horn and the sound of calliope music still the words in his throat. Stricken, Bill thinks of the advertisement he had recently seen, announcing a series of upcoming shows by a traveling circus. And wherever there are circuses, there are clowns. Although he has never mentioned this to his buddies, Bill's girlfriend has long struggled against the lure of callrophilia. In layman's terms, an addiction to rough clown sex. Although clean for more than a year, Eunice has apparently fallen off the wagon once more. Bill closes his eyes and sings a mournful ballad that echoes forlornly off of the posters of commercial artists taped to his wall. She's fucking clowns again. Clowns, she's impossible. But that was just another lie. And nothing in this world could satisfy her like a baseball love and energy wine. Trip like laser, all dust. All times good, early love. I even got hurt in the back of one time. Give her two of mine. So I guess it's time for me to resign. You fucking clowns again. She's fucking clowns again. Got the basic for life, got the life of my friend. She's fucking clowns again. I'm sitting in a bar drinking gin and wondering how it would think to go so long. Last time we kissed, I could taste the trail quick. Every time we heard that Sondheim song. The music haunts me. I hear it at night when I'm trying to scream. I can hear it cries around LA. As fast as the final sheep on me. It seems clear to me. She's fucking clowns again. She's fucking those clowns again. Got the basic for got the rock my friend. She's fucking clowns again. As the drummer hits his last cymbal, Bill opens his eyes and realizes with a start that that he is apparently no longer in his duplex. He is in fact in a rundown bar with what appears to be a glass of Tanqueray tonic in his hand. Look, just go with it, okay? Pretend it's like magic realism or something, okay? Oh yeah, like it's okay for Gabriel Garcia Marquez, but not me, right? All right, I got you. And even more curiously, he seems to be at the Manhattan Club, a downtown dive that was, as far as Bill knows, torn down many years ago to make room for other buildings to be torn down to make room for the Rio Nuevo Aquarium. Despite the fact that it no longer exists, the bar is crowded this evening. Dozens of vaguely homicidal regulars down pictures of old Milwaukee and glare balefully at the nervous college students practicing their ironic detachment and pretending to enjoy the aggressive chicken scratch band on stage. Disconcerted by the abrupt shift in location, shaken by Eunice's unexpected recidivism, she was so proud of her one-year clown-free coin. Bill quickly downs a drink and orders another and then another. As might be expected, the alcohol coursing through his body merges with the anguish festering in his heart, inspiring Bill to abjure his usual shyness, clamber awkwardly atop the bar, and bear his pain to the gathering of bemused alcoholics. For a delivery system, Bill, like most vicious, emotionally stunted males, employs a fairly obvious metaphor that is often utilized in songs wherein women are portrayed as supernatural commodities who are the immediate cause of either A, momentary feelings of contentment and pleasure.
I've been searching my whole life for a gal just like you. Now that I found you, my searching days are through.
Or B, the immediate cause of everlasting torment and pain, which can only be ameliorated by alcohol and or the advent of another gal, which starts the whole cycle up again. And this is Bill's song.
We must have that.
impromptu performance is greeted with a smattering of polite applause, a meager affirmation which allows Bill to settle comfortably into a warm juniper haze and contemplate the myriad ways in which the world has done him wrong. His contentment is mitigated only by a nagging feeling that he should perhaps phone in sick to work at the Circle K, since many hours seem to have elapsed since he first found himself in this non-existent bar. Unable to find his cell, Bill looks around the bar for a public phone and finds himself suddenly face to face with an older man who vaguely resembles Johnny Gibson. This Tiresias-like figure stares at Bill for a few moments, as though sizing him up, then jabs a hoary index finger into Bill's chest and asks, "Kid, you got any idea what day today is?" Bill, flustered by the question due to a spatial temporal dislocation, as well as the number of TNTs he has consumed, guesses that it is Wednesday. "Wrong!" the old man bellows triumphantly. "It's Halloween! In this country, every goddamn day is Halloween!" With malignant glee, he draws Bill's attention to the clothing of his fellow revelers, the cowboy hats, the biker regalia, the t-shirts with corporate logos, the sports jerseys, the authentic gangster clothing purchased at Hot Topic, all of which Bill realizes do indeed evoke the Halloween-like aesthetic. The old man nods approvingly. "Yeah, now you're getting it, kid." As though awaiting this very cue, the Chicken Scratch Band, the Papa Go-Go's, abandon the polka they are playing, and launch immediately into a song that examines in rather excruciating detail this very theme.
Dress up like a
As the band finishes their song, Bill, feeling somewhat lightheaded, excuses himself and fights his way through the thick clouds of bar conversation.
Don't go there.
Right on.
My bad. My bad. That's what she said.
Right
That's
on.
what she said. My bad. My bad.
Don't even go
My
there.
bad.
It's all good. Right on. Act of God.
That was bar conversation. And as for the restroom in the rear of the bar, entering the doorway, he finds himself, for some reason, in a peaceful pastoral setting. Yeah, you try to string all these songs together into a coherent story. Next to a large tent, members of a traveling revival group are sitting on folding chairs and holding a spirited discussion about the relative merits of hermeneutics and exegesis. Periodically, one of the group members throws a piece of raw tofu at a feral folk singer who's chained to a stake in the middle of the clearing. Bill approaches the group nervously, pretending to ask if they know where the urinals are. The folk singer, baring his horrible yellow teeth, suddenly lunges at Bill, intending to throw him to the ground and sing a catchy pentatonic song about obvious social problems. Bill screams. Fortunately, the heavy copper chain lashed around the musician's neck and torso allowed Bill to narrowly escape injury. Bill is furious at himself for his social gaffe, it being common knowledge in all cultures that one should never, ever make direct eye contact with somebody holding an acoustic guitar. The social awkwardness is ameliorated by a young woman from the group, who asks the sulking folk singer if he would perhaps like to sing the song he recently wrote about the nation's 22nd president. And 24th, the folk singer growls before playing the first chords of his latest incomprehensible opus. When he is finished, the folk singer, of course, begins a labored explanation about the true meaning of the song, and that the name of the president was utilized as a socially constructed meme to blah, 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 blah. We'll skip ahead a little bit here. Bill, meanwhile, has snuck off behind a copse of sycamore trees with a young woman who says her name is Libertina Feldman. She asks Bill if he's heard about the upcoming rapture, which is due to transpire shortly, according to accounts of the learned elders. Bill nods eagerly and indicates that he has been waiting his whole life for this moment, despite the fact that his knowledge of the apocalypse is derived entirely from an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie he saw at the De Anza Drive-In. As he holds her hand and awaits the end of the world, Bill realizes, as is the custom of many drunks who suddenly fall madly in love with the first person they see, that he is suddenly madly in love with Libertina Feldman, that she is his soulmate and one true love, and that he will devote the last hours of his life to making his, dare I say, rapture girl happy and fulfilled. If put into song format, Bill's feelings would sound not entirely dissimilar to this. Overwhelmed with feelings of love and spiritual fulfillment, Bill leans forward to give a chaste kiss to Libertina. Before their lips can touch, however, black-clad members of the ASCAP Secret Police, a division of Blackwater, burst through the restroom door, which she's hanging in the air or something, wrestle Bill to the ground, slap a pair of handcuffs on him. The officer in charge informs Bill that he is under arrest for using a Jimi Hendrix riff in the song, but for obtaining copyright permission. Don't you know you don't mess with entertainment purveyors in this country, boy? Cop hisses in his ear. Bill is taken to the Maricopa County Jail, where he's put in a cell with 3 other copyright violators, the category of felon slightly below that of pedophile in the prison hierarchy. Months pass while Bill awaits his trial. The environment of the jail is almost unendurable. The crowded conditions further exacerbated by the hundreds of new SB 1070 prisoners arrested under suspicion of being Mexican, looking Mexican, having friends that are Mexican, originating from a country that Mexicans are known to frequent, or having non-flour tortillas in the refrigerator. Bill has difficulty finding a gang in which to cast his lot. The Aryan Brotherhood claimed that some of the character references on his application form are sketchy. So he's forced to defend himself against the numerous predators that roam the prison. He is disconsolate, finding momentary relief only in the meager prison library. Idly thumbing through a dog-eared copy of Sartre's Nausea one day, he suddenly gasps, dropping the book like it was some kind of simile. It's difficult to tell whether he's having an epiphany or a seizure. I get it now, Bill cries aloud. Now I know what my high school teachers were talking about, that stupid chestnut tree. I understand! Then Bill burst into song yet again!
Never go away. A broken toy hidden by the door,